Alright, I'm gonna try and grease the swing arm bearings on my VN750. So first thing I'm gonna do is remove all the controls from the handlebars to take those off. I got the throttle off already, so I'll take off my master cylinder, remove those controls, and then pop these handlebars out of here. Next, I'll pull a couple screws out of this left grip cluster. I decided since everything's hooked up to the buck or unhooked from the bike already, I'm just gonna leave this stuff kind of attached to the handlebars and just pull all the wires and cables with it when I pull the handlebars off. So we got a couple of these Allen screws out. Just remove the last two that are holding these handlebars on temporarily. This cover just comes off. And pull all my cables out. Except for the brake cable will have to stay. Just pull that off the bar here. Okay, now that those handlebars are out of the way, I'm going to pull out this top stem bolt, 19mm socket. Yep. There we go. With that out of the way, this top stem unit should pull off of here. Just like that. Just gotta get rid of a brake cable here first. Okay, so I ended up unhooking my brake line from my master cylinder to get it past here. I guess I could have left the master cylinder on the handlebars. That's okay. So now, if I unhook these horn leads, I think I can pull this mess off the bike. Okay, now I can pull this unit off here and set it aside. So I just got that upper triple tree clamp off, and these lock nuts and everything was hand tight, so pretty good thing that I decided to grease this. So it would have been pretty loose otherwise. These two screws out of the horn plate so I can get at this brake line T, pull that out of there so I don't have to drag the brake calipers along with this clamp. Okay, I'm going to take this brake hose junction off here now. Should be able to pull these nuts off of here, these lock nuts. and slide this bottom clamp out of here. There we go. Can also take this top cap, seal, and inner bearing race off the top. To get this bottom bearing and race off the clamp, I'm just going to pry up from underneath of it with a screwdriver. Okay, so when I took this bottom bearing off, I was trying to pry up on the seal underneath of it, but the bearing actually sits on a lip, so I should have been prying on that lip. So I had to cut the seal off, move it out of the way, and then I saw that lip, pried the bearing off there. Took a little bit of work. Kind of scuffed up the surface, but I kind of cleaned it up again, so it should sit pretty square, and I can start putting this back together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I got my new grease seal. I'll slide that onto that lip or edge. Make sure that's seated, and then I think I'm going to put this assembly in the freezer so this shrinks up a little bit and that bottom bearing can slide on there easier. Okay, so while I let that shaft freeze up a bit, cool off, I'm going to pack my bearing with grease. The last bearings I did on my swing arm, I was kind of packing them in properly, and one of the guys in the forums pointed that out, showed me the right way to do it, so thanks Gordon. I'm gonna take a dollop of grease, just stick it on my palm, and then take the bearing and just kind of tap it into the grease until it comes up through the top, and then I'll know it's fully packed. And keep doing that all the way around. Finding this technique works a little better if you have the grease at the base of your hand. Just gets up in there a little better, squeezes through, works really good. Okay, I have my cooled down shaft straight out of the freezer, and try and slip this bearing onto its seat. Might have to tap it down a little bit yet. Okay, a little bit more tapping with that PVC pipe on there, and I managed to get it down. It's a little stiff on there, but eventually it went. Alright, I should be able to slide this lower triple tree clamp back into the stem and seat this bottom bearing and grease seal. Slide my top bearing into place. Grease seal on the top bearing. Should fit in there. And then my nut. Just like that. Oops, I forgot to put this plastic cap on before this nut. Okay, I'm going to tighten this knot up to seat the bearings properly. I don't have the right size spanner wrench for this, but this is one for my dirt bike shock. I'm just going to stick it in there, stick my Allen key in one of these other grooves, and then that'll help tighten it up. Okay, I want to tighten this nut until I can just feel resistance in the play. Right about there, I think. I don't want any preload on those bearings. Okay, so while holding the spanner wrench on the bottom nut, I tightened the lock nut up with a screwdriver and a hammer. Just tapped it around, and it's just got a little bit of resistance on it, pretty well nothing. So I think that should be good. I don't think there's much preload. There shouldn't be any preload on the bearings the way it's set up right now. I think it's just the grease I'm feeling. Alright, I'm going to place my upper triple tree clamp back on this stem. And I'll square up the clamps to each other by sliding the forks in here, and then I'll tighten this nut here, or this bolt I should say. Okay, so to square up my triple trees, I stuck my forks in upside down so I wouldn't have to lift the bike up, just using them to square it up. And now I'll torque this stem bolt to 29 foot-pounds. Just like that.